Okay, this is part 2 from yesterday about the whole MLF and tournament on Conroe and all these things. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch that video. It was from yesterday. I went into the whole stuff about forward-facing sonar and the different periods and catching non-keeper fish and things like that. Like, I went into that whole spill. And I left out this part. And this is a major part for me. I talked about how I kind of stopped watching it. And guys, remember, if you're first watching this, this is my opinion. This isn't right or wrong. It's just how I felt about it. I didn't like them weighing in all the non-keeper fish. Like, that was a big thing of mine. Like, I couldn't watch them weigh in a fish that is not a keeper. It's not a keeper, size-wise. It's got to be 16 inches. It wasn't. So that was like one of my number one things. My second one was this, and this is going to be a problem. And it's not MLF. MLF didn't know this. I wouldn't have thought about this either. Like, I always view these things and go, no, I didn't see that happening. So here's what it is. I left this out yesterday. The first period happened. And as it's going on, I think like, I don't know how many guys chose to start with live scope or whatever it is, forward facing sonar in the first period. When they did, at one point in time, within a couple hours, they had like 22 or 23 out of the top 25 were all using it, all chose at that period, which is fine, no big deal, right? Who cares? This is more about the watching the show and like, do you like it or not? And I was like, okay, cool. And I'm watching just to see who's catching them, things like that. It didn't materialize till later, right? I have to kind of get through the weekend before I started realizing what's going on. So as that's going on, they built a lead. No big deal. Well, who are they going to cover? The guys in the lead. So some guy, catches 36 pounds on it with however many fish, and he's in the lead. Camera's going to stay on that guy. Okay, no big deal. And then that guy doesn't catch him that great, right? But he's still in the lead. They're going to kind of stay on him. But then all of a sudden, a guy's down here that's not in the lead start catching him because he now starts using forward-facing sonar. So now he's starting to catch fish. The camera's going to go to those guys. So the first period, a lot of the footage was of everyone live scoping, forward-facing sonar. Well, then those guys didn't catch them very well. And you got another group. And what are they doing? Forward-facing sonar. And those guys start catching up. Guess where the camera goes? It's the guys catching fish. All the guys using forward-facing sonar. Then you look up, and this is going to be an issue or a problem, and I would never have thought it, I don't think they thought of it, is that you think you're about to see a bunch of guys fishing without it, right? And I'm not saying they didn't have footage of it, but the problem is you see that since they're catching so many fish with it, someone is always catching fish with it. That tends to be most of the camera, most of the airtime. And I was going, yeah, I think a lot of people were excited to see something different, right? Not to see that the whole time. And I'm not saying they didn't get to see other fish. Every time I turned it on, it was some guy using it, just about. Almost every single time. Or it was at least 50-50. It's got to be more than 50-50. There's no doubt it was more than 50-50. And so, where does that go? Like, that's going to be an issue. If they didn't do it that way, and I'm not saying they should, but if they made everyone forward-facing sonar one period, then the rest of the periods would be guys just fishing. And apparently, I don't know. I mean, you look on the comments, and I'm not saying the comments are reflective of what everyone thinks, but so many people want to see just regular fishing. So, I don't know. I'm just saying, moving forward, that's going to be a theme, right? Where the guys that are leading are going to be using it, and then the guys that are using it in another period, they're going to be possibly catching more fish, and the airtime is going to go to them, so you're going to be seeing them use it. And it could happen again in period 3, where those guys now are catching most of the fish. And you look up, and you're still seeing it. And I understand why you have to do that. I'm just stating that that's what it starts to turn into. Now, why I don't like that, and it's not that why I don't like that. Here's the problem. I don't like watching guys do the same thing on anything. Like I don't care. Well, I can watch guys like topwater fish and stuff like that's pretty awesome. But I don't like, and this is my opinion, I'm not trying to learn from someone out there live scoping. I know how to do it. I got everyone just about is throwing the same bait. This is just for me, and I like doing it. I did it all day yesterday, the day before or whatever. I had 3 baits tied on. I caught all of them basically on one. But I rig up my 3 or 4 rods, and I know what to do. And I can take those rods just about everywhere and do it. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's a reason. And we did it yesterday and smashed on them. Like, it works. I get it. What I always liked, for me personally, when I watched the shows, is like, I like the other stuff, man. I wanted to see some guy on Conroe catching like 6 or 7 fish, doing something I never would have done. He figured out a way to catch big ones. He wasn't worried about catching 110s and 112s and a 2-pounder that wasn't even a keeper. He figured out something on his own by himself. And I'm like, whoa, I would have never have done that. I fished that. What's he doing? Why is he doing that? Can something he's doing, can a guy standing alone, right, by himself doing something different, can he win this tournament? Did he just figure out something that no one else has really ever figured out? Did he do it in a different part of the lake that no one else figured out? Did he have a bait that was better than everyone else? Could he have gone in the grass and go, I've got this other technique, right? And maybe it's still like drop shotting. Maybe it's whatever it is. But everyone else is winding something, and he figures out another way to catch it. Like, I like that stuff. I like a guy going, man, I don't know, man. I'm going to throw this big swim bait all day long in docks. Or I'm going to go flip docks, but I'm only going to get 5, 6 bites a day. But look, I'm going to catch the giants. Or I'm going to go out, whatever it is. And I'm using Conroe as an example. We've caught some big ones out there doing some stuff that's a little bit different. You don't get as many bites. But when you get 1 or 2 of those bites a day, they're freaking over 6, 7 pounds. So you can go do a couple other things to try to get a limit, and then go do that. And you're hunting 1 or 2 big ones a day. That's something I'm interested in. Now, not everyone's like that, but I am. So we're never going to get that. We're not going to get that with MLF. You can get it with other stuff, but with MLF, that's the only problem I don't like about the every fish counts, is because, I don't get excited about guys going out there catching 2-pounders. I don't. I've never. It's fun if you're doing it, but even if you do it, I'm telling you, go to Mexico. Go to Mexico. I've been when I was in high school, and I went fishing out there. And we went to El Salto, and El Salto was not good at the time. Tons of fish. It was a longish, like they were trying to revive the lake or whatever with shad and all kinds of stuff. But guys go out there and catch 100 fish a day. You go catch 100 fish a day after a day or two, guess what? You catch another one, and you're like, it's fun. I really want to catch a 5-pounder though. Like, it was hard to catch a 5-pounder. And the minute you did catch one, you're like, that's what I want to go figure out how to catch more of those. And you're not really worried about the 2-pounders anymore, because you're like, man, I caught 100 of those. I'm past that. So that's all I'd say is that I'm a guy who's past the 2-pounders. I want to catch big ones. I like that. I think it's interesting, stuff like that. That would be my only issue with that. Other than that, I like what's going on with MLF, and that they did the, off again, on again periods of the Sonar. I like that stuff. But that's the one thing that we might not ever get to see again. And we might not get to see it with like live scope. Like live scope and forward facing sonar, it's the same thing. It's the same old thing. It's like, I've never seen fishing where it's like 1 or 2 baits, and they can call it, oh, this is a different bait, and it's a minnow. Like, it's the same thing every tournament. And eventually, and I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, I'm like, I saw last week. I saw it from a different organization last week on a different lake last week. And I saw it the week before that. And I saw it the week before that. And I'm like, I'm over that. I want to see some guy go out there and try to catch him doing something else. Now that's not, I know we can't always just have that. I'm just saying that's what I was used to. And I enjoyed that stuff. And if it's not there, there was a reason. None of us complained about that back in the day. None of us did. And so, and I don't know necessarily how to fix it. Well, I kind of do, I think. But I mean, that's where we're at right now. And just like in all these sports, with basketball, guys are complaining about the 3-point deal. They're trying to figure out, they got to start fixing it. NFL, baseball, they've all changed stuff. They put in the pitch clock in baseball, right? To speed up the game. NFL, they've done all kinds of stuff. I mean, they change the kickoffs constantly. I know a lot of it's because of safety stuff, but they're trying, like, you got to keep on evolving and trying to make what you're watching better. And so for me, watching fishing right now is not the best. The storylines can be good. But the problem with the storylines is this, and the storylines aren't even that great. They're okay. They're different storylines. They're not really so much about the fishing part of it. Like the fishing as in the storyline I like are, you know, a guy trying to hold on to a lead, guy just trying to go out there and catch 5 or 6 fish, big ones, things like that. I like that stuff. The storylines they have now is like the MLF storylines are the best by far. It's guys who can catch them with and without it. That's to me the storyline. That's why I think all of us were watching. We wanted to go see who could catch them with and without it. And I think it's blatantly obvious who can. And I think as time goes on, it's going to showcase that. So that's the number one storyline for me by far. It's bigger than the fish catches and everything. I just want to see you can catch them with and without it. And so as we move forward, you know, how does all this look? Because someone's going to win out. Someone's going to figure out the best way to make the viewership the best. So that's what I'm interested, because right now I'm not interested. Like I'll look at the numbers. I go sometimes just to score tracker and look, read it, and then go on. Like I said, it was the live part that wasn't interesting as much to me because, like I said, again in the video the other day, I just didn't like watching them weigh in fish that weren't keepers and talking about it and getting excited about it and like, oh, and I'm like, they're all doing the same thing. Yeah, okay, whatever. And I just move on. And I heard that, hey, did you see the guy that caught this on a boat dock? Or did you see the swim bait and this? And I'm like, no, I didn't watch it, man. The other stuff wore me out. I couldn't sit through all that just to watch that. And it sucks because I would have watched that. That would have been awesome. I missed that. But when I'm doing other stuff and I'm listening after 30, 45 minutes of the same thing, I'm like, okay, if this is what it's going to be like. It's not fair. I'm not saying it's fair, but that's the way I thought. That's what happened. And so I saw so much of that I missed the other part because I was like, I'm not going to sit through a bunch of that stuff to see one good. I wanted to see that the whole time. I don't know if you can fix that. Maybe you can't with live. You know, I don't know. Do we go? Here's a wild thought. I would love to talk to Zona because Zona was talking about it the first time they did live. Is there a way we can go back to where they wrote in the storyline? Because I mean, I do that with all my stuff. Like when I do my like Alabama Waters, and I just did one with Rayburn's series, and I did all these things. Like you get to see the storyline come out. Now a lot of y'all, and some of y'all might not follow the Toyota series, so you didn't know if I did good or not. Most of y'all did. Most of y'all might have known how I did. I'm like, man, how did he get there? Like, okay, well, wait a minute. It's halfway through the day 3 and he sure doesn't have 18 pounds. What's he going to do? Right? There's some intrigue there. So you're kind of wondering what I did. Did I make an adjustment? It seems like on my YouTube, that's what people liked. And I love doing them that way. Like, I like it. I'm glad I can do it that way because no one else is really doing it. You don't see it on the elites. You don't see, like, no one else is showing that. They're just showing live. And so it's not the same. Like there's a little bit of suspense in mine, or like you're trying to figure it out. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to edit it, right? I mean, I just go through the day. It's really easy. I just cut it up and tell you all my adjustments. But yeah, you know, I might call it 18 pounds, but if you're like 12 o'clock, he's got 14. He better do something. I don't know. It's going to be interesting moving forward. So, but I did want to say that's the storylines that I'm missing. And I'm wondering if we're ever going to get that back again. Or if we can get that back again. Or if there's an idea out there to get it back again. I'm always trying to figure out these different ideas. Guys, here's the thing. I want fishing to get better. I want viewership to go up. I want more people to watch this stuff. And so I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I think we just kind of need to keep thinking about things and maybe figure out a way to make it better. That's what I'm trying to do. It's not a knock on all this stuff. I know people think it is, but no, it's just like, okay, here's the problem. It's okay to admit where the problem is and try to figure out how to get to a better solution. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you're not doing that, I think we got problems. And if you get mad about that, I get it. And then people tell me how much I do things wrong on the internet. They say I ramble on and I talk in circles, right? Okay, I'll work on that. I'm still trying to figure out how to do it a better way. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, there's a difference between that and just going, I can't listen to this guy, he's horrible. I'm not saying, oh, MLF's horrible, I can't watch that. No, I'm saying I like a lot of the stuff. What if we fix some of this? Or am I the only one that feels that way? I'm not sure. So, anyways, all right, I got to fill out this application real quick. Wait till y'all see this video. It's going to be a good one. See y'all.